The village of Igwe-Oka was a place of plenty, but it was ruled by pride. Chief among the proud was elder Chinedu, whose daughter, Amara, was said to carry the morning sun in her smile. The young farmer, Obi, was a man of great ambition and passion, and his heart belonged entirely to Amara. One evening, by the sacred Iroko tree, Obi declared his love. Amara looked at him, her eyes soft. "I believe you, Obi, but my father will not accept an ordinary man. His pride is vast. He will demand a price that matches the sun in my smile." Obi's friend Ike, a quick-witted man whose humor often hid wisdom, overheard them. "Obi, if the elder sees the truth in your heart, no price will be too great. Offer him a proverb and a prayer, not a pile of possessions." "Nonsense, Ike," Obi scoffed. "A true man doesn't beg for respect. He demands it with his wealth. I will show your father that my worth lies in the power of my hands."
The next day, Obi formally requested Amara's hand. Elder Chinedu sat, draped in his finest cloth, and let Obi wait. "Obi," the elder began, his voice slow and heavy, "my daughter is a jewel. To have her, you must prove you can sustain her value." He listed the demands: 70 goats whose horns spiraled towards the sky, 40 casks of palm oil as pure as gold, 1 silver mirror said to show a man his destiny, and the impossible dowry of a northern chief, a sum that had ruined 3 wealthy traders. Obi paled. The price was a deliberate insult, but the fire of his pride blazed higher than his common sense. "I will pay it," Obi declared, slamming his hand on the ground. "Your daughter is worthy of a king's dowry, and I will be her king." Elder Chinedu smiled, a victory already won. Ike, hiding, groaned. "He is not buying a wife, he is buying the moon, and he will fall trying to reach it." Obi's life became a comic obsession. He sold his farm and inheritance. The chase for the goats was a disaster. Obi ended up trading his sandals for 3 sickly kids that ran away. The effort to acquire the 40 casks of oil was just as bad. His attempt to haul them across the river himself capsized the canoe, staining the riverbank gold. He returned, smelling simply of old palm oil, to the barely contained laughter of the market women. Ike could only shake his head. "Obi, you are a rich man determined to make himself poor. Where is the joy in this madness?" Obi achieved the impossible, securing all the wealth. However, after the final ceremony, Elder Chinedu leaned close. "The price is paid," he whispered, "but the final custom is the bride's gift, a jar of bitter honey from the spirit forest, and only through a song of humility. If you take it by force, you steal the sweetness, and the bitterness will never leave your home." Driven by fear and pride, Obi refused to beg. He stormed into the forest with a machete, scorned the spirit, and hacked the hive down, ignoring the thin, pained cry that followed. He returned with the dark, illicit honey. When Amara saw the honey, her fear turned to despair. She gently asked if he took it with a song or a sword. Obi roared back, his devotion poisoned by hatred for her truthfulness. "I went as a conqueror. I paid the highest price. I do not beg for honey." The curse began immediately. His prize stallion died of a wasting disease, and his newly planted fields withered to dust. The first tangible result of his hollow victory was loss. The true tragedy struck months later. Amara fell ill during childbirth and died, taking their child with her. Obi's life was shattered. The beautiful mats and carvings bought with the bride price seemed only to mock him now. Obi moved through his barren compound like a ghost, the jar of bitter honey sitting untouched. He stopped speaking, stopped eating. The village whispered he was mad. One night, the grief became a cold stone in his gut.
He realized he had been mourning the loss of his possession more than the loss of his love. He sought out Ike. I have come to beg for the only thing I have left to give, my humility. He confessed his pride and the certainty that he alone had killed his family. Ike led him back to the spirit forest, not to fight, but to penance. For the next season, Obi lived near the scarred tree, tending the wound and singing a simple, sincere dirge of sorrow and regret. The penance brought no dramatic cure, but it brought clarity. Obi returned to Igwe-Oka, looking like a beggar, but with clear eyes. His final task was to face the elder. He found Chinedu sitting amidst the untouched pile of wealth, a monument to a tragic error. I have come to beg for the right to retrieve the prize, Obi said, bowing low. It is the wealth I used to insult your daughter. I ask only to take the bitter honey back to the forest and return to you only the silver mirror.
Why the mirror? The elder asked. Because the mirror promised to show me my future, Obi explained. But all it ever showed me was the fool I was. I wish to carry that single lesson with me, elder. The rest of the wealth is meaningless. A tear tracked down the elder's proud face. You have learned the truth, he whispered. The bitter honey was not a spirit curse, it was a proverb. You chose to chew the bitter part, your pride, and spit out the sweet part, your love. No man can buy a good wife, he can only earn her daily. Obi left the compound with only the silver mirror. The elder commanded that the entire hoard be distributed among the poorest families in Igwe-Oka. Obi stood before the elder one last time. I leave this. The loudest drum of wealth beats only the rhythm of coming ruin. The softest song of sincerity is the only price accepted by the heart. Obi settled in a small, rough hut, caring for orphans and sharing his devastating lesson. He lived out his days in quiet service, a man revered not for the wealth he possessed, but for the profound wisdom he had earned from his own ruin. The village remembered Amara as the woman who was too valuable to be bought.